Welcome to the world of the People's Talmud. We appreciate your time in coming into our site. I'd just like to give those of you that aren't familiar with the Talmud some sort of a background, a little bit of a mystical taste as to what this world is as an introduction to yourself. We believe the Talmud, written thousands of years ago, was the original Facebook. It talks about everything under and even over the sun. There's nothing from the beginning of one's life to the end of one's life and even beyond this life that the Talmud doesn't talk about. The Talmud was also the original Google. Wired magazine once said the Talmud was the original hypertext because it's non-linear. Although it can also function linear, the ideas jump all about, which according to one opinion, this is why the Babylonian Talmud is called Babylonian, because Babel means to be mixed up. All of the ideas are scattered for multiple levels and multiple reasons as well. But maybe perhaps for our day and age, there are two things that the Talmud might be most important besides the information that could personally help you in your own life, is because the Talmud also teaches us how to argue. It doesn't just sit down and lay out things and everybody just simply blindly accepts. There's bitter debate. There's 180-degree opposite opinions. And yet the beauty of what the Talmud affords us is to teach me and to teach you that even if you and I don't see eye to eye, we can still see heart to heart. It teaches me how I could differ with you and still love you and still be together with you. And that's a lesson that we are forgetting in today's world. We think if people don't think like I, then they're the enemy. That's not correct. Because people don't think like each other doesn't mean that we can't find a common ground and find a denominator that's important to all of us. So that's an interesting, important thing in Talmud, is to learn how to argue and walk away as friends. But more than that, of course, is to learn how to build wisdom and how to find insights, things which are timeless and are now in the People's Talmud made available to you. So here's a little insight into the nature of the Talmud. The Talmud as we have today is broken down into 6 orders. You will find this under the page called Scroll. These 6 orders contain all the various books of the Talmud, but they work in a very beautiful process. They begin with the first order. Let's call it, although it's called seeds, let's call it the order of the physical world. It's all about how to survive, how to plant food, how to harvest, how agriculture operates, things that you need because without food in your stomach, there's nothing else to talk about. The second order, let's call it time. It talks about day and night. It talks about seasons. It talks about holidays. So the first 2 orders are the basic elements of human life, time and space. But now that you have time and space, you might be thinking about becoming immortal, about having children, about building a family. The third order, which is called Nashim, which means women, because as my friend's magnet in the refrigerator once says, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So therefore, this is all about the family unit. How do we work as a couple? How do we work with our children? But now that I'm a family and you're a family, how do those families interact? You remember when you were in school and you were learning about molecules and you had styrofoam balls, those were atoms, and then you took sticks and you connected them and you built molecules. So now each one of those atoms is a family unit. But how they come together, the molecular structure, is called society. That's the fourth order, which is called damages. When my car breaks your fence, how do we resolve this in a way where we don't become enemies, we remain friends, and we bring justice into the world? That's what society is all about. The fifth level is just to merely have society. What's that all about? There has to be raised into etzka. There has to be purpose and something of meaning. For the Jews, this is about bringing God into the world. And that's why the fifth one is called kachim, which means holiness. It talks about God's one home in this world, which is the Jerusalem temple, a place where all mankind, as it's written in the book of Isaiah, in the future will pray together to the one God. That becomes a manifest destiny, tikkun olam, a chance for all of us to live as one in the world. But after all is said and done, there's the sixth order. And that's the order where a person's getting close to the end of their life and they're reflecting over their life and they're wondering, will their soul, which came into this world as pure as snow, go back on that same level as purity when it leaves this world? And that's what the last order is called, purity. Taharot. Taharot is all about light of the soul, where a person realizes how much one can really elevate to the nth degree. And therefore the Talmud, if you will, is a brushstroke of the human life experience, except for one mistake, which isn't really a mistake, but it might sound like that. And that's the very first book of the entire Talmud, which is called the Book of Blessings, because the Book of Blessings should be at the very end of the first chapter. Now that you've learned all the agricultural activity, and now that you're sitting down to eat, now you might want to know what blessings to make. But the answer is not. The answer is that a blessing means appreciation and recognizing the good that's done for us in our lives, even right down to breathing. And if you have that attitude to see life as blessing, then the entire world will open up to you. And that's the key to opening the Talmud, and the wisdom that it has is through developing a sense of appreciation for what we have. So we hope that this platform will be a great opportunity for value in your life, your loved ones, your friends, your society, and your community. And we hope that you will keep in touch with us and let us know what you think.
That's all, folks.